Yama yetiefo nyina dwo ema mo nyina kwaba e de ba promise ene eye ya wada wopani ma bosome no ne da etoso edu enkono mfinhia penu ene aduonu enan edafofra wotwadi ampo nyankropon kwa me wasa ye biemu a ye ho odin se brezi ahoma ensam ede nam no de bedi mu akotin bi enie wopani aganafo ato aba ama no se mampani yewura John Dramani Mahama wode atodwa akire mu se committee na wate no enye witch hunting ho adwuma anomo ba baye emunsam wo bete ananwumre
na Bishop Salifu amwakone ba yi awode ka ekum mofra mienu no koto akwa asetena ama no atemu ya de nchiremu ba
na abatu a yato awie besa na watwe mienu enie ye kase wo mensini mako enkono bi a wono mo resource yentime mfametu edwa electoral commission ade abetu dwa kirem se afei ana obeka na foforo se agirese no ana emrahye bedwane a wote abanwa so de ma Saudai Honorable Roxanne Nelson dafia makpo ekirem se Ghana bakwasem mu ebinsi da
waye kefo na kase wonum si nyame ani nukrenie ye wasi resource no si kani ho nti omuntimi fa resource no ma omuntimi release
se Ghana fo beka yi a mampani ekufo ado ekopa wono ankasa ne honini eye statue ehontoma ewo afia nkwanta ewatoye mantemu na otwi mu ne beto odwase nipa bofo bi nam kwati kwan e de hama akobu ni nai baako ye kasa yi nyame adom wo muguso a wo mo ye ho adwuma
afe ononyafo Alexander Fanyo Markins ana ononyafo Joy se kire se betumi akono ana wonum ema no na dom kuma minority no ano mrase bedafiem
sadanso ana atraya eba abatogo mu a wodi mu ntintiman ade wani edi akire hwese bibia betima kototen eye coalition of domestic election observers ye twantia se kodeo wo mo de atodwa akire mu se abato achimenteme ho ase betimi ama Ghana somdue ate anwea wo eno nti Ghana muntutu manamo ye
na woni onyafa Alexander Fanyo Markins se mampenda da John Dramani Mama yato abano ama na wie onum ema no honeymoon na fua o happy 100 days honeymoon
ebusuafo ansam ne pinu aka me ho na nwumre ye de ba besom Ghana fo nyina se anwumre no sia KaseƐ bona ensamu a ebayi wokọ TV no so a eye Promise TV emu odesa no manam na yemfa ho aseda ema adwumako a etoto so yi Ginaf B Catering Services ese mo Ghana fo nyina mane se aduane pa a ede na ebetimi amo ahode nro na watimi anyine fine ye nchen ana obetimi anya no ye wo breakfast ye wo lunch ana ye wo supper anopa awia ani anwumre eno nti wankasa wo bawura mu a wotwi bo sa no a wusi upegwe ye fa ne point and eat Ginaf B Catering Services wo betimi ehu wonom ewo adum wone Access Bank no ana edin hwani mu anase Mass by Ghana bomade so be 0247 0099 another 99 and 0244 239886 Bosheba Electricals ene me patro light ahodo de eyusu solar area ene de eyusu anyinam ahoden ne nyina nso eye energy efficient na energy commission age atum se wo mo niema no etimeboa ama Ghana fo yeka eso timiti se ewa sada nso ana Ghana Standards Authority dutum se Bosheba Electricals de wa made a anka Ghana fo nke ewukura ye wo chandeliers ye wo corner light ye wo gate light ceiling fans ye wo orient steady lamps ye wo CCTV cameras and any cables ye wo standing fan ye wo ceiling air condition fans and any USB ye wo switch 12-volt adapters digital video recorders do no a eno nti ankrankure any adwumaku real estate developers any building contractors matwadi but mother so wadi woni bekire mu na watimi atubi aton wo pe ba ko so a wo betimi abawura mu a ye fa ne operation wo bere course adum wo PZ KJT market no ene ne di nhwani mu ana adum PZ Bosheba abrota tenten mu a prisons runabout nso wonsa betimi aka Bosheba Electricals na adum PZ biem anti attack for dankese no mu but mother so be fra yen 0322 030 838 and 0536 095966
nti satia no won madama na anwumre ya trase na ya somo won ya kaka ho brepam wonum so de obo de beto mountain so Emmanuel Odro Korea asem JJC Jimmy James Cliff ne dom ni nyina ka unom tintim ye enwure ye ba ya ye ne aboze ye warrior sie na grada Antonsu beauty queen baba prisi nanam MC afadama edem na ye twagu ewo Promise Television so ne Promise Radio 102.7 Facebook no ne Promise FM so Wofa Atta Frimpong ni metin meniminu
Ghana Stakat ya meeting kra woko jiabo okran
Zamnu fiti asese titi na yemfa emamo na ye October bosuminum afi ye mu amoka ye be abosumienu ntam asem ne ye kan ene kokoba ase abeto justice of Penny ye Bishop Salifo Amwako ne ba abemu aye wedding frisia dunsia akwa akotu ne papa ka kakraka bi mpanifo ka anya nkra kwa nkra ka akra ya kyerɛ sɛ ka no ene eboyi ni bia jagwa sinyagro jagwa kɛseɛ pa jagwa F-Pace Sport no wɔde namwa na no sa no ya ne hwene num taate ti oba obɛte trom ti wɔde ne namua na agya wɔta ne ho no na niti yanse wagofa nkwanhyia de aba ya wɔde akwakɔpem ɛhyɛ foforo mu ekowi akyire na maayua mienu ato ananom ewo ense do ewo mu asam no court akọ asetena nne na atemu ya court de ba ye ne se Bishop Salifo Amwako ne ba ba mu ayi ye odi mfrinsia do nsia ya wokofa nkwanhyia ba ye na wakum mofra ana mayua mienu no wonkoda afiase abosome nsia 6 months na eno ana won ye firi mu no ba akona na ba ya ne din Justin Agbenu wode nsem atodwa no se asamu se obi bedi ewu pa kwansi abrane mu na nipa mienu be firi mu asotwen ya mamra makwan me edema no nyina ye abosumi si afiase da no oden ti we de onzira se nke betumi a emra no bia ye nsa kire mu na daache bia sem ye te sa ne si a nipa no ye nya asotwen a emu oden che se ye ede amano
court na kase busumi nsia se na mrane kano efa no ko senior correction center enti musu mutina mama hunye koso bibia
Yami compare se between radio and run business center. Wasn't drinking through reckless riding. Nenko Bani say that's running.
Nti satia no mamrano de tiano wo hwe abamu anu fie a wanya no ana kyerɛ sɛ onwura mpanimfie mu wɔ mrem o 16 years mfie dunsia nti yɛde no akoto mpanimfo afiase enye ye nti we no juvenile correction center na yɛse yɛmfa no nkro abosome nsia yɛnkɔ tretre no ɛwɔ hɔnom ne ade nti wɔde awudie nipa mienu na ɛso amamra ne kyerɛ sɛ ne mfie ni nti wɔyɛ akoda nti enkoda so twen ɛna ɛwɔ se yɛde ma no
Yentu anwumre no nsia kase ebo no esom. Ye boso awremu ewo amanyosemu a wopani a yekese Ghana fo kokromoti. Enam so amo abeye mampani nyame ya domu a January bosum de toso enson. Eye yewra John Dramani Mahama. Wabo enipa mako enum bidin se womo enforme eye committee. Na wopani a wote adwa mu se chairman eye North Tomra se bedwani. Yewra Samuel Okujeto ablakwa wono ana wo ye chairman. Na dwumadie no ene ne mpompon so nyina no ene se aban wei amampani akufo ado eda noin emfinhia nwotwe wo mo do mo sambienu na sebio wo mo dididi ye se boabin fie madwe wo mo wiaga ne sika enu nti operation recover all loot ye twa ntia se oral ehun committee ana yate na eno ana aban wei mu nipa etre se committee no a yewura Mahama ate no eye witch hunting wo mo ebetata nkrofo bia wo mo hu ni asem na ene wabera yewura Mahama yeto aba emano na wone Ghana fo ogu so a wodi enkomo no ene so akasa wakire mu SS committee no enya witch hunting bia no mba beye na emom no wo mo beye hwehwemu apanyina so kama bia ye betimi edi nipa bi akokko to se wo mo aboman Ghana kro no enu ntini nsam a Ghana fo no bi keka san ana we no eye witch hunting na MPP fo keka ne nyina no Yera Mahama HM Sanya no kre na eye committee a wo mo be adwuma neutrally wo mo nchesi obia na emom wo mbe chesi de bone won ho firi se empani se de wadie ana ebon no ho wo de sansam we nyina atudwa wabra Canadian High Commissioner to Ghana wo call non srahwe e won the office no de sansam we atu edwa
President Government Loot announced the preparatory committee, and I think people are misunderstanding it. We're receiving a lot of information on things that are going wrong or things, corruption scandals and all that. Some send me texts on my phone, some call me, others pass through other people. We want a focal point where all that evidence is directed, and so that they can assemble that evidence. And once we come into office, Oral is not going to be investigating people. It's going to gather the evidence and pass on that evidence to the government institutions that are geared, supposed to do that kind of work. And so we just want that if people have any information that they think is useful in the fight against corruption, pass it on to this team. That's what the team is about. And they are all doing that service pro bono. They are not expecting any payment. There's no expenditure or budget associated with the task that they are carrying out. And so that's the explanation for it. Yeah. And so I don't think that people should think that it's a witch hunting committee. We have no brooms to fly at night. So I can assure people that it's not meant to witch hunt, people.
Ebusiani ayeti ye president elect Yera John Dramani Mahama.
Abano yetu ewie ye no. Rashe dwafie de ande enkonwa no ebi won ma besi sa abra to komise. Wontimi vanzu aso ma meto monten so ntre won ya wonum enwi ye. Na ena ma de boy ya abato komise e to Ghana fo anim. Ene se mrashe bedwa nkonwa no abato besu amakoma ko be se enkono. Sinsanso ya abato komisi adwumayefo ya wonu abato mbasuanso abato no akiri wonni babatu udwa na wonu pa mu kan ye kwasi burum baka se wonu declare ya no abato komisi se ojitu a enyeye nti wonsom na maame jemensa ode to nsentrofo anim no wokiri mu senti akoba nsa no se abato mbasu ahudu yi sawomo do akiri afo ano ana foto ye afo ano south west afo ano etifi Obuasi East, Okakwe Central, Ablikuma North, Tema Central, Techima South, Dom Kwabenya. Abato Mbesia, honum, ma ya abato commission adwumefo declare no. Yesomwa enyeye, kwasi brunisi onum uphold. Na wasi sente ba sanse onum adwumefo ya ne wa abato Mbesia nso ya na ewoso onum na bobo ekire de odi nkonim ne owe ye ne ade no. Sabato mpesu ya makoma konkron ya yabobo oboso yi no ehonum de no abato komisi adwumefo ye na wonum a wonum ebobo honum ma no ye gina wonum konso se wonum kete kwati brumba ka se under dress na kire se wo hyebi wom ne ebi kura no a se kan eda ominim se wan kan se ya omene no ye ti hoho ti yakoba ne sa no ehu ni apopo enkire ne nkwan ye denti ana wonum adwumefo no ompo mu nkwanti eja onum edin susanso ntutudwa eka no sede won ya na etata wonum no epe no nti nyame ya adoma mese mu adwo na aba bedi atra kesie mu no abato komisen dwom tire ne maame je mensa se emra makwan de biada dase ato aba wie na ye bobo na ye gina obi konso yire ne kwanchi se kanise kase we na we ne abrante sa nti wonum anyintom wonum ba beken kan fro ne mum I must note
that in the Ahafo Southwest and in the Ahafo North, as the collation on election day was also disrupted and no winners were declared. Those processes were incomplete, and until they are complete, the commission will not be in the position to declare a winner. In Obuasi East, the collation center was attacked by party supporters, and the returning officer was threatened with an axe. His hands were lifted up, and he was asked to declare a winner when that was not what was reflected on the results collation form. Again, that process was not lawful, and the commission would not uphold it. In the Taipei Central, I did mention that 110 polling stations results were used to declare a winner instead of 141. The Commission will not uphold that process. In the Ablekuma North constituency, 219 polling station results were used to declare a winner instead of 281 polling station results. The Commission will not uphold that declaration. Central, the DA again was threatened and he was forced to declare results using 146 polling stations instead of 148. The Commission will not uphold that declaration. In Bodo East, the officer was physically assaulted. In Bodo East, in Techiman South, in the Bodo East region, the officer, the returning officer, and other staff were physically assaulted and forced to declare the results at gunpoint. The Commission, it's important to note that the collation process had not been completed. There also, the Commission will not uphold those processes. In Benin, there's some contention with 3 polling station results, and 367 of those results have been duly declared as legitimate. There are 3 results that are outstanding, and the Commission is carrying out its own investigations to allow it, to enable it to take a decision.
Afe wadi adesredi akra to aso se wasre Ghana mapani na danko akufu adwa nesi kwa soro ya wo kra fa ne bag ya kro afe mampani na da onuadwon Dramani Mahama ya wonso wo ba beba se wonmienu adawro mamomoden ko ntirimpa mumua na onum ema bambo ya ewie peyo mapa ema abato commission for ntumi nye wonjumadie ensiase ekra.
We therefore use this occasion to humbly call on the President of Ghana, His Excellency Nana Addo Akufo-Addo, as well as our President-elect, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, to intervene in this matter so as to ensure that the Commission is provided with the necessary security and protection to carry out its functions. We also call on the National Election Security Task Force to come together to put in place arrangements to ensure that our staff and our processes are protected and secured in a way that will ensure that the true outcomes of our processes reflect the will of the people as expressed on the plea sheets.
About to commission, Maame Jean Mensa, no.
Yet one has yabono so ana yadaso agyinemu ewo electoral commission agyinasi a wasie se mensi ne manko enkono wo besan afa pen ne paper no watro no 1 2 3 4 5 na we declare ne foforo na sa agyinasi no ana emrahye bedwani a wote abanwa so de ma NDC ewo South Dai ewo from Mantam Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafia Mako ode ato dwakyerem se sa agyinasi no a electoral commission asie no awurade wabu Ghana mrano kom sei ejen efri se Ghana mamrano a itintim na fe apem ahenkono aduokono mjeno no woka se yeto abawie na se obi susu se wo kwakopere MP na ebia figures no nebo anyoso a won fa nko high court enu nti eba ne san na ye Maame Jane Adoko Mensa na ni mienu na ne hwene santam no hunu se de Ghana mra ekanie nanso abrewa bi besia se te de now opeso ono ankasa eye ho adweman wotirem se ade no a electoral commission for person omoye no ehu ema Ghana mra efri se maame no wahyeda so obebu Ghana mra kom ama Ghana mra no akokoma ansana so beja adwuma no mpo a wajai.
Now it is interesting that even though the EC has been sued and has been properly served, in fact in one of the cases brought against the EC by the NDC, the matter is slated for tomorrow at the High Court in Accra, General Jurisdiction, particularly General Jurisdiction 2. The matter is slated to be heard tomorrow, and yet EC conduct itself in a manner that I will call contempt ex facie curiae by holding this press conference, particularly ignoring the court processes that seeks to injunct this very conduct. The NDC is saying that in respect of these 4 or 5 constituencies that have been listed among the 9, we are challenging the EC from conducting itself in a manner to saying, for instance, that they will not recognize the declaration. The recognition or otherwise of those declarations doesn't lie in the mouth of the EC. It lies with the court of law. Only a court of law can declare those declarations as unlawful, and therefore whether or not a rerun of the election or recollation or whatever it is, it can only be ordered by a court of law, a court of competent jurisdiction. So the EC must be, the commissioners must be very careful. And I say this advisedly because you see, under regulation 45 of CI 127, that is the penal provision. The regulation is to the effect that where a person conducts himself which breaches any provision of the of CI 127, the person upon summary conviction can be fined by a court of law, or can be imprisoned, or can be both fined and imprisoned. And it is not directed at the public at large. That provision also applies to EC officers, including the commissioners of EC, who will conduct themselves in a manner that breaches any provision of CI 127. Their insistence on recollation, which is very strange, which is alien to CI 127 and PNDC law 284, they are engaging in a conduct that will breach CI 127. And I'm cautioning them that tomorrow they may be hauled before a court of law in criminal prosecution, subject to the provisions contained in Regulation 45, which is the penal provision. So we must be law abiding, not only as the participants in the elections, but the people who are also engendered in law under CI 127 to conduct the public elections in accordance with the terms and tenets of the law governing it. The EC is provoking everybody. The EC is particularly provoking the NDC because these are seats that have been declared for the NDC candidates. And we are saying if anybody wants to challenge the outcome of these declarations, the forum is the High Court.
Any IIT a South Diamra Shebedwani, Honorable Roxanne Nelson Dafia Mapo. Ana wo chirem se su mind an entry aba kwotwene ban ho. Na sa wo maso chire pani na se pani wanwane a. Akwada nso nsuro enu nti no de EC ye no de. Hu sini Jamaica ngurem, emu nsem ne.
Na ya famra wo masuam nso akrai. West African Examination Council WAEC empenfo na aba mountain so mu chire. Se nti a wasi sovensu asum tim fameto mountain so. Ni okasa edema WAEC Ura John Capi anu ochiremu se eye sikasem ntina resource no ma ye ochiremu a mo franchiro sohwe ni wiye no fechire fo ye a waye kefo no no ye adwuma kire technicians so mo adwuma no fechire wonum ka bia waye kefo di wonum omunya sika ntua ti ama fechire fo no fidie bia so fechire no na ye adwuma ye netimi bua ma resource no eba technician for no wonu ma ja fechire o ma ja mfidie na gu akope ba bia tena frese sika waso mu nsaka no de ye no mu nsankan afia to nchani a wase wonu wo afidie ba akobi scanners bi a eno objectives no ya ka no session A no tutubidi no ene ade no nte ho bo nsusi wa o hwe number 1 no ase a we die Maame mfa A we Maame mfa D na uyi bidie ni ade no wase eno afidie a wonum ade maake no na ema nipa kro modern oboye de wonya ye eno nso sa afidie no asese ya wonum hia sika bese woman ye sidi no wapepe aduonu wenum 25 million Ghana cedis no de asiesi eno nso ema wonya sika no mfa ma woni a ye de amonum enti eno nso anwenwe ni sisi wo ya akwa ene ose kwasi bibese no ehihye afidie ni pantan mu ya wonti make ye enu nti se resource ni ma ya na senti a e ma ye enu no
the woman say you collaboration so na wie ama examiners wo no so ama ki theory ne practicals na wie na afia ka objective test no eno ye the scanners and market scanners so break it down ni nyina say nti yentumi entwa so enya adwuma no na skabia nka wasa bind my no na ye bisa say nkotumi de kayensa nka na ya ma technicians so abehwe na o my scanners so adwuma ni atwa adwuma so ka abind and in total outstanding balance 118.9 million Ghana cedis and a car abind the and no yansu ya thinkophobic technicians ejumano we de umkabe 25 million almost says can entry anya dia ombeba be ejuma bia amaye bio chedama ye ho akamu ye kasa abind can entry into ejumano technicians ye de umkabe 25 million and no almost ye entry and sana omwamba be chom 25 million because I said kana and after so what say ye mo my regime say omuwie adwuma yi a ye betua won omba be adwuma no kra na say omuwie a ye free be bandwidth internet ye pese ye upload results in online so be ya obi obetie dia kra na say what scratch card obetimi a check it nkofodo do na wo results ye be adwuma na I was see it in dollars net menya sa bandwidth na sana ye upload results and right now me to think say be almost 10 million by be at least 25 and the kada or some we are sky betia on kana for yes we have a bandwidth the make so and for the people who to any servicing yes ka be brain to me there say be ya so na ebeba next year near to me I nyina ho adwuma say yes there
John Kapi Yokasa Edema West African Examination Council WAEC nene eniati
yada so agiremu ewo WAEC nsensem no emu a empene se yede wo fi hunsuo ana eno ana adwene na WAEC fo de abeto dwa akiremu se ensohwe no a enkwada no tworo ye mekire 2023-2024 eye wasi no ye kasa yi results no enya meto monten eso na Ghana fo bi busa sa na adenti na enkwada tworo nsohwe na dadada no WAEC results yi anase wasi results yi emaye na WAEC fo de abeto dwa akirem se wotwin bibi firi so na se mapena kire se ahoma no amantam ekurem hausa ne bi wasena ponketwa so we de nya ponche na to aso eyeka ankasa ana to aso WAEC fo akire se yeka yi mampani ekufo ado aban no wo de WAEC ka 18 million Ghana cedis na se sika na bepem ne wo mo abo aban no abono a nanso aban we na so odin esini wele da wa ache so sika no won fe mai enu nti se sika na amade a ene e wo mo so results no wo mo de be hye somiase ada gusu atunkromo pam na sansem we no ebeto dwa no ana ranking member on Parliament Education Committee Honorable Peter Notu Kotoi wode atodwa ana wo kire mu ese saa aginasie no a WAEC fo asie no nyese wo mutire mu na adin o na emmo mampani ekufo ado ene na aban ana wo mutire mu odin firi se WAEC fo dwumadi a wo mudie ne betime di mu na konkane a eye sikasem na sa aban we atimi ade wo muka 18 million Ghana cedis bepem ne na ye ntua ye de na kire se ehu pam wode atodwa akirem se efiti 2019 ebai enkrata awodo pie no na aba montre so a edi adanse se WAEC fo eda wo muka nanso no aban we nya na adwene se obetua enu nti no abe no anso ananso enyu obi anakote no ye na sa abata na se mutie a results no a ema ye no mofa ho so bo emo mampani akufu ado Honorable Peter Notu Kotoi nanum nsem ne ye
release of results according to a press release by WAEC on 19 December WAEC stated that the Ministry of Education was owing the council the sum of 118 million Ghana cedis. The effect of the delay in the release of funds to WAEC is negatively affecting their mandate in several ways. WAEC has to incur high costs of conducting examinations because materials cannot be procured in bulk and in advance. Also, WAEC is unable to pay examiners in time, and it is beginning to lose experienced and seasoned examiners. The information available is that the target date of 19 December for the release of the 2024 WASE results will have to delay because examiners are threatening to hold on to their scripts if payments are not made to them on the submission of marked scripts.
Ebusianfo ni ayeti yeyi ranking member on Education Committee Parliament Honorable Peter Notu Kotoi
Yanko yanenim Ononyafo Joseph Owusu Jowise ena yetwanti ado no a ne yedenim no amanyosemu na ye kasa asantema kwai abato mbesua so na ye onumra se odwane ena mra se odwafie we no enyangu asetena no wone achiamehene abedi akira wodi kan First Deputy Speaker of Parliament wo kira na dwen na o kiremu a nyankropo ya adom na yedibro nyawi a opepo so nda etosonson mampenda da John Dramani mama so afremu so awie brase odwafo so sai na brase bedwa de etosonkron 9th Parliament ne yeda wonmadi na asetena ni frase ho no ɛna MPP for no ɛbɛba domkuma afa na NDC for akɔ domkuni afa MPP ba minority na no wura jo wise se wiase de wonim tane de ngira tworo no ano nti won de ɔkyerɛ na adwen sɛ MPP for no ɛba domkuma no afa wonum enkoso ama wonunya for Alexander Afenyo Akin ɛna wonma no nye wonum ba no dani ɔmɛ minority leader ɔkyerɛm sɛ sɛnti a wɔde sɛ futuo ɛma amoniku ni sɛ ne wo hwa abato nsusu aso sɛ de si ɛkorɔ yɛ no a dodo no ate aguo no akwa sɛ wɔn ne a wonum anyini wɔ bra hyɛ bedwa fie mu wɔn dwumadie ne wɔn hyehyɛ ne adeɛ nyinaa mu ɛwɔ ho nimdeɛ na wonum betimi aka ɔmanfoɔ abomu amomayɛ adwuma pa ɛde abo no amanyuku ɛne ɔman no ononyafo Afenyo Akin ɛyɛ wɔn ya aka no emu baako dodo no a ya wo mu sɛ nimdeɛ no wɔn mamra hyɛ bedwa fie mu obi mti so wɔn pɛ obi a wɔnyini ɛwɔ mra hyɛ bedwa fie no dwumadie ne hyehyɛ mu a ura Afenyo Akin wɔn mu a wɔn nsa no mu obi a ɛmɛ minority leader no no ne betimi aka NPP for no abom na afei wonum ne NDC for no ɛde afei so mra hyɛ bedwa fie mu.
Simple. One, I'm not a member of the 9th Parliament, and nobody has asked me to do anything for the 9th Parliament. But just as a full-time member who has worked in the House, I strongly believe in longevity and experience. From our own actions and inaction, you can tell that when Che was the minority leader and majority leader, he stood out very clearly. But it did not happen by accident. He started as a chief whip and grew up to become a leader. The longevity brings experience and clarity. So I would not support any request for a new person to be brought into the picture now. If you ask me, let Afenyo Akin continue. He started, there's nobody who has had that experience before him. The only person who has had that experience is Honorable Chairman Sabufi. He is leaving Parliament. He has now the only person who has the sufficient, not even sufficient, but some experience which will be useful in going forward. So I will not recommend any other person. If you ask my view is that let Afenyo Akin continue. Again, where we are now, we need to be combative. We can never influence decisions. At best, we'll get 91. Looking at all that is going on, we cannot change any decision. But our voices must be very loudly heard in and out of the chamber.
Yo, na oto aso akra eno osi nyame anim MPP wie we pa de so abakosem bia ni ho emeda nwie no nu mawie nti nkan hwehwe mu brane pa nkoso MPP fo wo mu mpehunu se nti a enei wonu mu awie sa poto na wonu ehunu vonso no mu nsiesie.
When it comes to a situation where your base simply refuse to vote, it calls for further and better probe into what happened. I think at this point, what any MPP needs to do, and that's what we should be focusing on, is talk to the everyday people why they refuse to vote. Find out what we could do better and what we should do now. We should not pretend to know everything. But this is a clear sign that people were not happy with us, notwithstanding that, taking them one by one, we could demonstrate that we did a lot better than any government in the past. But the way Ghanaians evaluated our performance is different from the way I see it. Therefore, I can't continue based on my perception or my experience only. We should take time to listen and be guided by what we hear. So that's the way I look at it, the evidence. But as we speak, everybody's throwing about allegations and things. They're just conjecturing. Let's allow ourselves time. Let's allow cool heads to come, and let's get proper explanation as to what happened. There's really no justification in rushing now to claim that because of A, B, C, D's, Z happened. No, I think that will not be an appropriate evaluation of the situation we are in now.
Oh yeah, no for Joseph Osei with Jewise. But quite about one person as I say, Jenny, and Atena Drinchery.
Yet work as a bono eso ewo promise waha enemy no echiripo enson ene promise TV so a sadan so yen social media handles no ene ye kase boy ebia hono mo a wo to abasa nanim ene na chi a emu ode pa ye to aso akwa anim ya to aba no awie na nka mpane sise ekuro wu a na nka dwoa atwetwe na so Ghana ekuro na wu dwoa no ho na ho no ene se emabunu bi ate agumontene so a wo mo ekirem se wo mo na wo maban aba enu nti wo mo besa enuoma ene menteme ho ase ene meham ene ade be chi ade be sana donkuram nkwada etonguramu a ye hihye so ma na dwapade ye se bi ni ade a na eno ana eye national coordinator ade ema coalition of domestic election observers kodeo wapani Albert Kofi Ahen wode kokobo akofom pa de amagana fo nyina se ade no a ekoso no ehu na anamo no agana fo mabunu ni bi etuo no na asempanyfo aka wo matomu a wo nka ho hwe no etese ne wakwachi ko otwa masaba abefra mponche na wo ye ne fra wonyini a ana abehunu se ba ko we namba ko so we ahaban wotirem se de ekoso no ya to aba na wie nanso se Ghana fo mpanifo betena se ayenhwe han a de mabunu no eye no ebetimi ama Ghana somdue ate anwea kora ebeyehu amomen wode sansem we nyina todwa wabra na Center for Democratic Development Ghana CDD Ghana wono mo afrensem trofo nhyiamu ana se bi mpanisi se wodi a ana ebonti yewra Albert Kofi Ahen kogina se bie ema wode sansem we ni afutuo no eto edwa.
In the Frimpong region, Dr. Frimpong had also to sort out a problem with coalition where a return officer again stole for another party. And the results of the coalition sheets were brought to the senior office and justice was done. So honestly, I'm not seeing my way clear. Why are we fighting over results? If we have won, the coalition sheets are there, the pink sheets are there. So why should we fight over it? And I'm sounding this warning because if we are not careful, elections might one day throw this country into chaos. I'm sure all of you saw on television how young ladies were taking fridges, freezers, carrying them, people helping them to carry with impunity, and nobody, not even a citizen's arrest. I didn't see even a citizen's arrest. So, ladies and gentlemen, we need to be very careful. We are treading on very dangerous ground. Elections might one day plunge this country into an abyss. I don't see why you are conducting an election, you are collecting results, and you should end up in a fight. I can't see it.
I can't see it. Was so adwene ho a wonte ase so wote ase so ana wanwene ho. Anyway, a national coordinator Emma Coalition of Domestic Election Observers. Ye twa nte ase kodeo. Yewra Albert Kofi Ahen. Ana ode sansem we eto edwan. Na eno achi no ana Reverend Fred Degbe. Wono so eye co-chair Emma Kodeo. Wono so de atodwa akirem se abato no a eto fom no o how ba ko aganafo ase yewura afire pa no eye vote buying. Say obi si wo pe MP adinti wotimi kan tese sikato fom se bem. Yetimi kan ya ma kire se $625,000 nyina no. Na emrahye bedwafo ye yicha ada ya amonyi sika. Na monto aba emfa emame wotirem se saade no a ekoso ewo Ghana bato mu no. Enya de papa se yesososo. Ninka sem na wotirem se bambon sensem nso. Abato no ebe hyase no. Ana Ghana Police Service ade beto dwa kire mu se ye wo meamia hodo bi wo hono mu a wo hawo betimi asi wo hono mu a obroni kan se eye flash points na wo mu kirem se edi nkan no wo mu enya empem enan ene aduokono enwotwe 4098 nanso wi akire na akonanim akogina mu empem eye edu baako wo kirem se eye wo hawo asese Ghana ya to abawie ye nyina yensi ho nkonwa ne empem ho aberekutire.
How do we gather for the police or the security forces to tell us that last election there were 4,000 hotspots, but this current one there are 11,000, 12,000 hotspots? What is the meaning of hotspot? Chieftaincy, tribal war, this, that, cocaine, drug addicts. So we have these hotspots. Hey, Ghana. Hello. I mean, you listen. You see. So let us look at ourselves properly and see who are we and who are we deceiving. If we've had a clean election and these are the results, we should take it the next step. By the 10th election, we must say that we've had enough of this childish, barbaric behavior. Let us truly show that well, we are the part of Africa. What do you say we are? Some of these African nations have gone there to see elections. They don't behave the way we are. What are we priding ourselves for? Redundancy. We must calm down. Our monies must be conserved for us to develop. The police, the army that we are calling for, They are even afraid to go and do it. Who should be me? No. Well, I believe on top of all that you've heard, this is the preaching that came from a preacher that come and give the closing remarks. And I think it's a criminal offense, or it bothers my conscience for me to hear that somebody who is trying to serve this country would raise $625,000 to be a member of parliament. How long will it take him? Even his bones.
Ebusuani ayeti yeyi eye coache edema kudeo. Yera Reverend Fred Degbe and what this answer me to ja.
Na onunya for Alexander Fenyo marking sabre mracho je film dom kunu on da wonma no. Ana wo tere se nyankropon ya adom ne edibro nya wie mampenda da John Dramani mama sai. Na woni NDC amanyuku ba bebu manu a. MPP for no bema wonum ahodwo na nafua wo ha. 100 days honeymoon. No wasi anu ne nya so pa efiri wo kono. Fe NPP for no ba ba yire mampenda da ne pechi. Ene ne nantu pa ewa amamuonum se sabio krama akofa obi bomo no ode ekro nti wonyina ye na ondi ade ba ko ka ne se NDC for se de mbontoa wonum kan ye dwa won manu aye na Ghana for ada ne de amonum koko boto sidi mpemiensa ene wo ha aye 3001 ene de ema koko akuafo NDC for edi namoya ka kire kuyafo se aban esisi omukoko botobo se brosa no de bom de be kompimsia eni ya kire wose ye danyame ase ene NDC enya omumfa Frimpong miensa eni sidi wo ha no emfa kompimsia sidi ahenum sede wonmu aka no.
Dr. KaseÄ Atuba Forsen, during the campaign, he went to the cocoa growing areas and said that MPP government would have to increase producer price. So I asked him, Ato, you say this to the people. Now you have power. You are supposed to increase the price of cocoa, the producer price. Do you have what it takes to absorb the subsidy? You go around and you make promises. For instance, President Mahama, as a candidate, was promising a lot of social interventions. At the same time, promising that he was going to repeal taxes, nuisance taxes he calls them. Now, how do you introduce Nkukon Ketenkete policy? Nkukon Ketenkete, I understand it basically to mean that the government will roll out social intervention programs to help the private sector, the informal sector. But all these things come at a cost to the state. So if you promise these, and then you also promise that you are going to take away taxes, how would you fund the social intervention program? Again, the private sector, for the past 3 years, our colleagues have been fighting us. Why do we give tax incentives to the private sector under 1D, 1F, which would otherwise give opportunity to the private sector to make savings, bring in raw materials at a cheaper cost, invest in their business, expand? They say no, they should pay taxes on the machinery, on the raw materials. So I see some conflicts, some inconsistencies in the NDC. However, I would want to give them a grace period. The first 100 days, we should give them the opportunity to set up the government.
Nti tuawodo a wose abofono abote ujutwetwema yefro no obiza se anya bia kwan ban na obefa so anya sika na asetena mumu ahyehyɛ awodo ya ɛwɔ boa wo ma no abrabɔ ne asetena obenya sika na wode ekuramu ɛne ɔse asemu bi sɛ NDC fo no nti wonde wɔhwɛ kwani umbefa so nkokɔ nketenkete no umbeto nkokɔ ma no anya sika na wonum ɛde ahwɛ wo man no.
Yentoa anwumre no nsia KaseÄ no eso ye nananom aneka yesa samampa ane yeto ne badin na se Ghanafoɔ bɛka ye November bosome no ne da na toso ensia ana ebeto dwa se mampani ekufo ado be ma boada achimpiesie ne dwumadi a wadie se mampani ene ne legacy nti ene enipa bi akoye statue e de hye na nimonyam ewa atoye mantemu a ene Afiankwanta Regional Hospital animo ho ejina hogoyi amampani watwa puruseni attention yada so de ya ye wobi de nwanwan ne brantan akọ why mampani statue na nantu ama se mampani statue no aye disable aye de ne ko surgery na abeto dwase enne wo mo a ebo aye ema statue ne yesi ho no empani si ensa ye de hyenku eno ane de tienti wo no mo asa aba ho bie mu a anantuo no aya wai no wo mo ye ne surgery kama wo ya wie efe pa ya tete ntwoma atare ho kama me enko ahoma so mpane se de wo kwa aten de wo ba aten de ogira ho de atentro do yensam twro nin oforiwa amanfo ejina ho abra na wo mo ye surgery no ofori majo
Bejo sumini abeba
na wapom boko de
ya me ado bibia boko
mo emra wo mo de mampani start no ekọ theater no sana ojina ho
yampa
boye mu nkomo ewo theater room e ho de won kwa na akowura ho
me so nkomo bon se na wudi nka edit udwa no be se bosumini a de statue esi ho no mo no ya de a embema na se embranti o western region wani bre pa yi se anka obehwe na obubu statue efi ho efi se wo kire mu a project ahodo amoya western region hanu mu sei no besi ne eya de asa project no wa ya wie na afen so krampo ekwan ni po statue esi mu na secondary road no ya de a endu bebia na afen so wasa koye we edesi run about nim enti ebufo bai ye hu enipa na sasamesi na obentin a obubu statue nenantuo se de awoken ye wa nanantuo nyina eden ede afi honom run about honom ye koda esowe ya besi ene anopei fiti endra ba ne yekohu ya ne se statue na ye bubu ne se de ho anane na ho no ya de ampanifo anase enipa binom ayeden aye nanso besi ne wo kasa yi de enipa asamesi na obentin a oye ye ndie enya de ye hu ni papleko a oye sa statue enso me no kasa de ya de wakukuri yesi wono mo se ade o ma ye statue
enti se obi twemu ahwe nkire se ne ba bia wai wo hu aye kama
se ade bibia gina na kwa mu hwe nkire se o ma wai nanso se yeti wonum se statue ade be chini asen wa bi mo na se wa bi mu no ye ntimi enkire efise nipa odi nka kwa wa ne edi nka ne kwa besi ne hwehwe mu ho no mo hwehwe nso besi ne ye hu nipa odi nka kwa wa ye na fe so ye na ya ne so po ye hu o mo koye den o mo koye ye enye se na koye hu sa embrantie nya o besi ya wa ye o sa fe so ma ko pia na to wo so ma ko guno ene de ye den ye ntimi nkire ne mo ne betimi aka se si ame no ka se de ayade a o ma ye ne nan do bi o mo wa ye no o ma ye e de si o
amanfo we de ma ebre ne ntima me mfa wonsi ne mo ma me musa emra ye de start ni si ho no wo manfo bi bufu yi pa se adenti ne kwan ya wo ye ne kwan no mom no eye uncompleted na wo de completed statue ababesi so mame musa contractor no free site ana se woguso a wo ye kwan no
send you be say the contractor ne the on free site bet me aka say west region ana mo no ana say takwade ni potemu de embra ye fi November aba na nyina na contractor hodo na mkwan so na ye mu bi yesu to say ebi ambatuo ni nti na sa project ni na almost start no besi na de yetu amba ni wie ni esi nyina echi no ya de contract ni na contractors na mo ye de omo akwan so mo ye de mbu kwan so omo ye na mo ho no na ye uncompleted na ye nwie ye no ne so de besi na ye nwie ye alasanya wo kan sa na tie enso contractor was site o ye adwuma
me ye sure say efian kwanta de munim title amanfo wo tie wo ho Baby na te start ni mai
so tie ne de enye tayo wuti mu se embrantie mi ade no na wo sei no
omu mi ai
tai de omu sheda nya kokuduro ne se ye kwa akone akosei no ebi po nya me na da na se se ade achi na na baby na wai na embere be mu a nkasa ne amusi ye ne de aka na ba ko sei de be ka de ada one enti se si ane kwapo na maye no ebetimi aka se state ne kwa dansaniem ana se dansaniem ye ntimi musa ade enche ye dansowe no na bi aniti ni yakobu ana se kopie ni nyina to ho bi se nipa timi akoye sa de ni ye hu nipa akoye ni yasen akoye omra de esi wonu mu de bia ehye nipa bi mabufuo eni samo mbe hu bia na akoma sorry efisa apart from sa kwan ni kwan na enye complete no project bebre makasa ka wo ho no mo interchange wo ho no mo agwa kwanta road wo ho no mo there are so many roads any interchange ni market aye handicap since ho no mo amafo onye baby ent na nam so ma west region jubi park krampo no adane market asai kra ma me 41 mo ton ade for mo kwanda nsam because e better kwada airport se elopre bi na mo soro ba edu market jubi park one esi for mo wi engineer nyina tutu na so yetwa market sek ye wie na bibi say omodi abesi kwan mu enti ebufo de me na support sha manfo me na ase a anytime bi e be kan mo bi ya so mo so be yes side na o betimi na so 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 me se na bentin no e na ye ntimi hu ni papreko a obedi se adwuma no
yɛda se ɛne wa mane bɔ na mmom hwɛ na wanna bɔ mmɔden apɛtae na nso wɛn style ni bi ma yɛn wate ne hia yɛn enti ya mane bɔ ni a wɔgyina mu atɔyɛ mantam mu ofori wa amanfo ana wɔkyɛ sɛ mampani style no akɔ ayasa aba sese ne ho den pa sa so dem akura sɛ ohun sɛ de surgeon no na o pempamo yɛ operation no ayɛ plastic surgery yankwae na baby ani dum judge bako nkrabata ye wonum aka bom ene baby ani Noble Men's Club afei Ghana Police Service Ghana Health Service wonum nyina ato kese ene wonum aye apom tenetene ne kasachire ne de obon tete ede ama womanfo ewo baby ani GPRT taxi rank na ensam yom di tu dwa no umbo apom de ho da wuro kakra bro nyan afei kwanso gosekose enso ho nsem kakra ko bambo nsem kakra ekomu na odum janso ede efutu eba yese ho mrei yenhwe yie pa yeja so ne yade yo nyina mu mfiri se eja betumi yade ewu na ye ora Enoch tete ya bibia ni awiaso be kwa ikropam de chiri potamo dum jajumakuo oni ebumfu mpa eja so oda wurma no wana otu wamanfofo se bra ya duru mu no ya hoho nti ne ya onu mo jo to a piece no ahwe ne yie ja no won se wadum ne yie sanso na wo soja wo fia won se wadum ne yie yemfa ani french she nyina eni djuma na eja hyehye ankosoro
na akwanya we fi asempa ana kwa bibiani anasa kwa bibi ya se
afei Tawhid Roberts ni bia saa ntete ne da boyi ebi wura wonum asum wonum sami yom kan ye
no ha na yenim enne mo be chire bebre ama yesia ade na se ye ho nsa se de saa ade na yesia de nantia dokorema incident bebre aba from tie ba de maspa because mo che no na bebre du ha odo afa fire extinguisher fra de bi ni kam so ni se number asa won do won ti na ohu se de ho fa so ti ende mo mo se sa fire extinguisher eye na so mo sa manya ni ti so se le a so se beti abeni apo beti to ma kuma so se ni mo di na professor wade atubi akuma so atubi fufu ba ya ka ya ho on so beti ni no so ti be so se
Tawhid Roberts ni bi ani ati wonum ani high promise 102.7 afi promise television so ana yeso mwanumre no nsia kase num ani akase no abete sa abro bi nkuto awoko dware abete abodukom ye ko yenanim na yene Reverend Collins Kofi Bonsu osa certified counselor ebedin komo aye ba bedie no ene afia wieye bia ewura afifufuru mu afi no ahyase na ene obi apekentenku obu on mu odi bokiti ise okoje abose ohwa odi akora Jesu ne si nanim ene o hyehye ye ne ma afi mu opeso ye ni suade ni botaye ye opeso oduru ho ne ade na enso mpandodo na ya na dodo na afi no bekọ na wieye ye obebu nkompo ahwe no na wantimi aduru ho ba bia na so eye ahoboabo ne ntoto ye wose ye de fa na ye nye ni ye ye moa ye ho ye enu nti ema ye ni suade ni ebotaye afefofre ewura mu no afe no nkwa na wie ye na ye ntumi nuru ho anase etise na kwan ben na afimpinu ene aduonu enum no ye moa abo ehu nwura mu nhyase ye na ye botaye etumi abem ye nkwa na ye ne Reverend Counselor Collins Kofi Bonsu eni nkomo Counselor
no fa
yo Counselor we dia adwo anwumre
mejimo so ofa
ayo we dia asam no ana iya bisai eni swadi ni bota awodo ya yesise digu ya ni mu afi meye wei afi metoka afi we pa mi sifie fi we meware fi we me yesei me tu kwan me bi adwuma be wie no na eye dua efa ne ba mu efa no nyese no mu na mu ba akofa ene ba mu ya na ekoba ne sentia na de na ose ye na yetumi am ye ni so ade hu ne ye de esi ye ni so yetumi aduru ho
no fa nyimre ye bedo nyankopon ase ye be mu obi anso afisia pa na betia ahefo nyina o promise TV ne promise radio o mu tie ofasa de o kan ye no sa na tie na edin kan ne esi hu no say a hopeless person is a helpless person. Ubia oni enidaso ubia no boana enyi. Enti anyam fonso ena enye bone. Se afibia e kona wie ya na ye bisi afufufuru mu a. Oni pada sani bia oba awo no a sebio adini woni trim. Wo atenka ene opepa ene adwempo se afufufuru a ye bi wura no. Ese niema eye foforo ese niema yiyi ese okọ nanim ofanya mfonso ka ye ho or say an expectation is a psychological state of mind or is an emotional state where one wishes that things will happen in a particular way. Just say tinka ana adwempo onipa bia onyame nkwa wo mu no ususu se bibi se te bemu enti yewra fefoforo bia mu a beka se energy enthusiasm chese optimism chese se di yesi wura mu ya na ahokeka ne ye nanso eniema mienu miensa ena enum ntia edu ai di si ye ne so no ye be wie na se afi once last week we talk about taking stock of your life. Now, okay, chairman, you can say, one Casabu Akunta, I heard near 2024, would you see when this was? You went me, and you went me, and you didn't know, Utimi, you didn't know, went me, and now what tiki necessary steps so that 2025 will be better. Now, of our aiding guardian, I unfinished project, and now, and your man be breno, intimate man in Bemonia. Yahu sie ene nhyehyɛ na ayɛ no ɛya enko broni bɛka sɛ it doesn't match ofa nhyehyɛ ahodo a yɛde ano ka no yahu sie ne sua so what you cannot build castle in the air and sometimes we bite more than we can chew ofa so bɛboa me twi na di ntia what does ahodo no dodo na ntimi mamuni ese
ha ya ni keka niema akese dodo
yes na you know
ya kama ne bro de yebekọ yanum na na ebetimi awesa
ofa edu mebi anya ankra on national level on political front so ya na tafi say if you na bi ebeto aba on the politicians no ehyehyabo bo sha akese afi omoba na reality no ehete a onse na afi ye ka bi hofro enti ofa enwumre adofo mo hwe mo amutie me pa chaw susufa ne ma bibiri si wani so enka se 2025 o hewie mu a obeto asase obekọ school obekọ abruchire obekọ kwaso oba on se de misika no ubesi udan on se bebre dodo yanya ne sa nkakra susufa ne ma bibiri si wani so na ehwe wabra bofa bia bibi kakra bia ofa obetimi aye so enkase meware enkase metukwan on se wo ware atukwan no enkase mebi adwuma enkase meko school on se enema no nye complementary so nembom wa obesese wabra bo obesese wotebia na Boni beka say have a reasonable expectation and plan towards it. Just an yahoo and mukano, as all ma adwene da ho kakra. Na fi why and she say na wasɛ onyame hɔ adom na watumi de adi dwuma ɔfa bio deɛ nti a yɛntumi yɛnsa ntumi nka no ɛyɛ sɛ mpɛn pii ɔfa deɛ yɛde ano ka no yɛde ano ka kwa yɛnyɛ ho nhyehyɛeɛ biara yɛde ano ka especially yɛyɛ nhyehyɛeɛ fa yɛne yɛ Nyankopɔn ayɔnkofa ɔfa obi se anɔpa biara ɔbɛyɛ devotion anɔpa biara ɔbɛbɔ mpaeɛ kakra ɔbɛda ɔsɔ ɔbɛkeka no saa bɛkɔ asɔre ntɛm na yɛn nso ɔfa yɛbɛwura mu no wɔnyɛ nhyehyɛeɛ biara bɛma no akɔ asɔre ntɛm so enti yɛse lift service no 2025 no yɛmfa nto nkyɛn na yɛnti a ɛyɛ sɛ yɛyɛ nhyehyɛeɛ ne yɛde kɔ Nyame anim especially 31st night kɔsrɛ no hɔ adom ne yɛfrɛ Okenka Proverbs chapter 16 verse 9 was say, in his heart a man plans his course, but it is the Lord who directs or guides his steps. Of a trasa, when Yaminyan Samu, when you pay Bia, as a way to say, if it's a Mebusam 119, it didn't see Antichemo, me and Sano, was to commit your plans to the Lord, and it shall succeed or it shall be established. Ẹsẹ sẹ onyamina nsẹm ọfa yẹnfia no nka sẹ 2025 mẹware kẹkẹ na emu ọmọ yẹn nhyehyẹ sẹ mẹware a ẹyẹ sẹ metu susu na mẹtumi ato susu nso a ẹyẹ sẹ mẹdwuma a mẹyẹ mẹyere me ho yẹ sẹ mẹtumi ato susu a ebi a mẹspẹnde mmọ eti mẹyẹ nhyehyẹ sẹ mẹtumi spẹnde nso eti wọfa there should be an intentional deliberate effort to plan. Yɛn pɛn hyehyɛeɛ yɛde ano ka no kwa ɔfa 2025 obi tumi ka sɛ Awurade mmoa no na wɔntu kwan ɔfa yɛbɛwura mu so na ɔnni passport na bɛyɛ dɛ watu kwan enti onyame deɛ ɔfa yɛn nkotodwa no yɛbɔ mpayɛ asrɛ no sɛ wɔmmoa yɛ ya ɛyɛ a n'asɛm ɛne ne nhyehyɛeɛ kyerɛ sɛ mpayɛ no deɛ ɛbɛma no yɛ mmerɛ na Broni bɛka sɛ specificity sɛ Nyankopɔn 2025 me pese me go school September it is a me go school September ebi am a adult person enti mentime ntwe bia anase mentime nkɔ formal school it me ko adult education na September me go school no me sha ase January mentime atwe May June exam se be ma results aba amato form ana enti anwumrei the way to go in 2025 yes sir yeah yeah no mu kwa bia the nisu bia na nyefo so if it's a Proverbs 23:18 was it the expectation the hope of the righteous shall not be disappointed it will nyame de offer wo hwe ni mu say ye be hopeful but we must translate our hopes into workable action and execute them. Wa makasa no of a dozen. Me the best awo Yohane Asempa. Yohane Asempa etiedusia enjichemu aduonu 9. John chapter 16 verse 24. Bible says, until now you have not asked anything in my name. Ask and you receive it so that your joy will be complete. And I didn't call Jesus Christ. Now we come for you to offer. Some year, only Pabia, yes, I will be beer. You be sad. Open the car of a house of house, open sky, you man, so we can say, your man, say, or so offer. You be your mammy, be the card of mammy, there be another, sir, and now say, Sikasa, now here. Or so, go with the other mammy. A Juman po of a house of a Jumaye. Who say Juma Baya? Say Jumabia of a Debbie, Yanasa. Yanasa to Miss Slow and quite 31st watch night. And Casa a radiate 2025 for the be a Juma Pamamio, Abra won't trace CV 2025 for the Mepasami Wario Abra, one no monium, Minarema, of Obuana no a monium.
And the only can go see a human bomber and son or the boss empire no say that the same water. And I also see you offer 2025 now be a better, but I can't be remember. But or say
it is only possible when you prepare adequately, because there is no luck in this life. Of I say you be say you didn't no. You did be it is when preparation meets opportunity. Over be America, your friend John Woody was said it is too late to prepare. It is too late to plan when opportunity comes. Was say akwanya ba of anya say na asia ma akwan na kwesiesie on na ye hyehyɛ na be fa akwan na ni so. It is opposite 2025 and near my pa eba ubremu. So opposite empire over 2025 was ready say projects are what we in 2025 no. Sheda aya ho hyehyɛ na esiesie on na nyame bie kwama wa wo de abiduma. So untimi anya consult a counselor.
Yo.
Ebi a osofu bi ana obi a wo
ana PDF college for.
Oh yes, PDF college omo adum omo kumase de. Ye o Chelsea house betimi aba. Ni aboa no aye hyehyeye. So be ware a usika 70 so abra bofa bia no. Ye hyehyeye wi ana afi wo de akọ awrade anim se awrade. Oba men hyehyeye nie. Intimanemrem. Was it many are the plans of a man, but it is the purpose or the counsel of the Lord that prevails. Was it the Shannon of a you, but when I meet you, pop and the brim.
Nungutoni,
a Ninamin film, never umpire song, Congress on wow, na Yanshaya, and Namia Semco, or Mancasa, and Nimsa Ubitinia of a Bassa 2025, Ubu say, uncompleted, unfinished projects. And I say, yeah, resolution, who was a 2025 economy, no. Then I'm dum, ya Tia, you move be I seen a minimum.
That's it. Reverend Councillor Collins Kofi Bonsu, PDF Purpose Discovery Foundation, Holy Calling Ministry, Penia Wadano, Anna Yen Wadin Comonti Tie. O se wa afim pese me ware age we padi mnyanu anka me pe oba we di kan ma wa no monyum to ho nsa na wanya ne ho akono ne ho
ma no enya demo di kan mo ano nya demo nto
na afi we ade master na ta chire nti sa no o twam na ofre no ha no wa hunu wonsen kan yeye obu wono ma fi no be no wadidi o ta penche we pa mu fie kra ma ho se
afi modofo no mudu amenken ensem hunu sa na de asa
ke edwa me no se na mufie me pa cho obi ni mo wa ya mo jese ze dia ponchiti
rade yeah wafa hu abusia me ento akase ebo no so ne yenkonko wie ewo enkofo amaso ayekọ Nigeria man no emu areho samu a efri Nigeria man mu ba enye de na ne nyina no ene se enipa bi akobo apeso abra na afahye bi ekoso ema ewi akire nipa maako 32 ye kasai stampede asim ama wonu nyina atoa yanom ewo ensiedo na afoforo be se empem num nso na ye kasai baabi a wo modade ene Grace ahyire nyom agese nyankopon ebem na dwumadie no ekoso ukwadai eye enura eye Islamic High School ewo Ibadan eye ahinkura eno ewo South West Oyo State ana saa arehusemui ekoso na Oyo State Commissioner for Information and Civic Orientation